Torako just wanted to get back to school early, but little did she know she would come across a body hanging from a utility pole. As Torako was at a loss for what to do, the body surprisingly began to drip snot, which miraculously flew onto Torako's head. The next second, the body opened its eyes. The reason it was hanging there was, of course, because of the antlers on its head. Suddenly, Shikanoko stared at Torako with a death glare, frightening Torako immensely. But upon further thought, if she took a detour to school at this time, she would definitely be late, which was absolutely unacceptable for an honor student. So, she decided to act as if she hadn't seen anything and prepared to leave. At that moment, a terrifying voice came from behind. "Are you going to just stand by and watch someone die?" Frightened, Torako hurriedly explained that she hadn't ignored a person in need. She thought the other was just playing around on the utility pole. Just as Torako was about to leave, Shikanoko quickly said, "Every morning you pass this road, you will remember my face and live in regret for the rest of your life." At this, Torako, finally deciding out of fear to save her, managed to rescue Shikanoko after some effort. Curious, Torako asked why she was in such a place. Shikanoko didn't know either, and even called Torako "bad girl, big sister." Hearing the word bad, Torako instantly got upset and loudly questioned her. "Who are you calling a delinquent?" Torako claimed she was gentle and virtuous and could not possibly be a delinquent. Shikanoko stated it was her antlers that detected it, shocking Torako. Torako suddenly realized that staying any longer with this person would be very dangerous, as she had indeed been a real troublemaker in the past. The exposed Torako quickly looked for a chance to leave. After returning to school, Torako felt uneasy, sensing that something big was about to happen. Sure enough, in the next second, Shikanoko walked in as a transfer student but got stuck because of her long antlers. She then forcibly broke through the wall to enter, acting as if nothing had happened, and cheerfully introduced herself to everyone, who warmly applauded her. Torako suddenly noticed an empty seat next to her. Was she going to sit next to her? This could spell doom for her image as a well-behaved, top-performing student. Her happy high school life was in jeopardy. So Torako decided to take the initiative and awkwardly greeted Shikanoko, telling her to ask her anything if confused. Shikanoko politely thanked her. Torako thought this would lead to a peaceful high school life, but that was wishful thinking. Shikanoko called her "bad girl, big sister," making Torako feel like the sky was falling. The classmates were incredulous. So, Torako is a delinquent? Torako, sweating profusely, begged Shikanoko to stop talking nonsense. Shikanoko insisted she wasn't lying, and even knew Torako was a virgin because her antlers reacted. This statement drew intense attention from classmates and teachers. At this point, Torako really wished Shikanoko would stop talking, and she shyly bowed her head in embarrassment over the topic. During the break, Torako wanted to have a serious talk with Shikanoko, but as soon as she pushed open the classroom door, she found a pile of little deer cookies on her desk. It turned out that this was Shikanoko's way of thanking Torako for saving her life. However, seeing the drool from Shikanoko, Torako couldn't help but complain, as it seemed like they were made for Shikanoko herself. Seeing that Torako was not pleased with the gift, Shikanoko directly pulled off one of her antlers and gave it to Torako. Torako looked disgusted, and the next second, Shikanoko explained that the antlers were edible. Torako showed no interest. Thinking it was because the antler was drooled on, Shikanoko pulled off the one she hadn't chewed and offered it to her. Seeing that Torako still didn't want it, Shikanoko reluctantly put the antler back on. But then, Shikanoko thought Torako wanted to eat deer meat. However, in order to repay her kindness, Shikanoko eventually agreed and knelt in front of Torako, offering herself for Torako to eat. Torako was speechless, feeling as if she were bullying Shikanoko. Noticing the strange looks from other students, Torako quickly dragged Shikanoko to the restroom, warning her not to call her "bad girl, big sister" again, and not to mention that she used to be a delinquent, or else she would mock Shikanoko's antlers. The next second, Shikanoko became sad, realizing that they couldn't avoid such idle gossip. She forced a smile and apologized. Hearing this, Torako also felt she had been too harsh. Just as Torako was about to apologize to Shikanoko, Shikanoko suddenly removed her skull. After school, after being tormented all day, Torako was just about to go home when she heard a loud noise from the storeroom. Rushing over, she found Shikanoko bloodied on the ground. Torako was at a loss. The next second, Shikanoko got up, having only fallen from a ladder. Torako's face stiffened. After helping Shikanoko bandage her wounds, Torako also helped clean up. It turned out Shikanoko had founded a club called Deer Club and planned to use this place as the club's base, which the teacher had also agreed to. To Torako's surprise, the teacher appointed her as the president of the Deer Club, all thanks to Shikanoko's meddling. Unable to refuse the teacher, Torako unwittingly became the president of this strange club. At that moment, Shikanoko handed a brush to Torako, because the purpose of the Deer Club was to take care of deer. As Torako was brushing Shikanoko, a strange woman in the distance was watching the two of them. The latest episode of Shikanoko is extremely abstract. Torako, in an attempt to hide her past as a delinquent, reluctantly becomes the president of the Deer Club. Just when Torako thinks she can keep her secret safe by keeping Shikanoko happy, she catches the attention of a girl with a crazed look in her eyes. The next day, Torako arrives at the Deer Club, only to find it burned down. Frustrated at seeing her carefully arranged club destroyed, Torako loses her temper. At that moment, Shikanoko, hiding in a corner, calls out to Torako, leading her to believe that Shikanoko is responsible for everything. However, Shikanoko claims that the room was already like this when she arrived and that she had been stalked since early morning, fell into a 5-meter deep pit on her way to school, and was even hit in the head by a spear falling from the sky. Torako is incredulous. Who survives a spear through the head? So she doesn't believe Shikanoko's words. As Torako is about to leave, an arrow suddenly flies past her, aiming at Shikanoko behind her. Shikanoko dramatically declares that the battle has begun, convincing Torako of her story. It seems Shikanoko really is being targeted. Thus, Torako decisively decides to leave Shikanoko behind and escape this troublesome place. Of course, Shikanoko won't let her go that easily. Just then, Torako accidentally steps on a trap and is hit on the head by a frying pan, awakening her delinquent spirit to find and punish the culprit. At that moment, a bunch of deer cookies rolls to the door. Although Torako immediately recognizes it as a trap, she doesn't warn Shikanoko in time, who rushes towards them. Despite being pulled back and explained by Torako that it's a trap, Shikanoko declares she would brave any danger for the deer cookies, her favorite snack. Unable to hold her back this time, Shikanoko is soon caught by a net trap. A girl then emerges, revealing herself to be the mastermind behind everything. When Shikanoko demands a fair fight, Torako calls out the girl's name, and the girl immediately changes her demeanor, rushing to embrace Torako. It turns out the girl is Torako's sister, Anko, who felt that Shikanoko had stolen her sister away. Anko had been secretly following Torako and became upset upon seeing her sister seemingly intimate with a deer, leading to her drastic actions. Hearing this, Torako feels helpless and lets Shikanoko explain to her sister. Shikanoko boldly claims that Torako is her woman and that she will protect her, leaving Torako speechless and Anko even more infuriated. Torako is at her wit's end, realizing this misunderstanding is far from being cleared up. So Anko accepted Shikanoko's challenge and let her down, planning a duel over their sister. If Shikanoko were to lose, she would become a deer and live forever in Nara Park. Conversely, if Anko lost, she would concede her sister to Shikanoko along with a lifetime supply of deer cookies. Upon hearing this, Shikanoko decisively agreed. Torako was speechless. If Shikanoko really turned into a deer in Nara Park, what would happen to their deer club? But Shikanoko firmly urged her to have faith. The duel was simple. They would compete by answering trivia about Torako's secrets. Correct answers earned points, with the highest scorer winning. Given the absurdity of the contest, Torako couldn't even bother to comment. The competition started quickly, but before the teacher could finish the question, Anko pressed the buzzer. What is the last thing Torako does before going to sleep each night? The answer: she talks to the stuffed animals in her room and wishes them good night. Torako furiously clarified it was a rumor, but the teacher presented a photo of her cuddling a stuffed toy saying good night. Shikanoko buzzed in for the next question. Is Torako currently wearing underwear? The answer was that she wore a cupped camisole, which technically meant she wasn't wearing any. The answer was correct, and then a video was shown as evidence. Torako screamed in protest. Thus, they exchanged points, continually exposing Torako's embarrassing secrets. The day quickly passed. and by dusk, the scores were still tied, leading to a world where only Torako got hurt, and Anko broke down. She couldn't believe anyone knew her sister better than she did, and accused Shikanoko of cheating, suspecting Shikanoko had used a nationwide deer information network to gather data on her sister. Anko then pressed a switch, activating a trap she had set up earlier, and numerous spears were shot at Shikanoko, who dodged them all. This deer was no ordinary creature. Torako decided to leave amid the chaos, but at that moment, Anko slipped and accidentally threw a spear at Torako. Shikanoko took the hit to protect her and then fell down, overcome by drowsiness. Seeing this, Torako was terrified and urged Shikanoko to open her eyes. No matter how she called, Shikanoko could no longer hear her. Accompanied by Torako's desperate screams, 2 deer angels appeared and took Shikanoko's soul away. In an unexpected twist, God kicked Shikanoko's soul back the next second because the spear had not pierced her heart. This was thanks to the deer cookies Shikanoko had secretly picked up and kept over her heart when Anko released her. Torako was speechless. She had seen coins block bullets, but never cookies block spears. The recent events changed Anko's perspective about Shikanoko, prompting her to concede and withdraw from the contest. Shikanoko graciously forgave Anko. Although the two reconciled, Torako, as the protagonist, felt completely out of the loop from start to finish and secretly decided to wear a bra the next day. Consequently, Shikanoko immediately noticed the color of her underwear the following day.